What's going on, guys? Beastly Gamer here. Welcome to the channel, and I want to bring you guys some news about the PlayStation VR headset. Now, I did do another story. I don't know if that story has come out to you guys yet, but there's been kind of rumor and speculation and leaked information that the PlayStation VR is going to cost $800. This news article is a little bit different from that, and I'll drop a link in the description. PlayStation VR headset, not as high-end as the Rift, Palmer Luckey says. Palmer Luckey is actually the person who created the Oculus Rift. Oculus Rift creator Palmer Luckey has spoken out to say the PlayStation VR, quote, isn't quite as high-end, end quote, as the Oculus Rift, though he still described the competing device as a, quote, good headset, end quote. His comments came as part of an interview with IB Times, in which the interviewer suggested that the PlayStation VR is the one headset best poised to compete with Rift. Luckey partially agreed, but also pointed out that the Rift and the PlayStation VR are catering to two different markets. Quote, that might be true, he said, when asked if PlayStation VR was Rift's biggest competitor. Quote, that might be true, end quote. He said when asked if PlayStation VR was Rift's biggest competitor. Quote, I think there's not many people who already own a PlayStation 4 who don't own a gaming PC who are going to go out and make that roughly $1,500 all-in-one investment for the Rift. It really is a separate market. They're bringing virtual reality to a different group of people who I don't think were ever really a part of our market anyway, end quote. Luckey added, quote, it's also worth noting that their headset isn't quite as high-end as ours. It's still, I think, a good headset, and the PlayStation 4 is not nearly as powerful as our recommended specs for a PC, end quote. Rift requires a capable gaming PC. PlayStation VR is powered by the PlayStation 4, which is already in the homes of many millions of people around the world. Also in the interview, Luckey reveals that he invited some of Sony's VR engineers to come see Rift before the device's Kickstarter campaign started in 2012. Giving Sony a peek at what Oculus was making at such an early stage was part of Luckey's drive to help VR as a medium finally take off in a meaningful way. Quote, I knew some people at Sony working on VR before I even started my Kickstarter campaign. Actually, we even brought them in early to show them what we were working on, to talk to them about what the minimum standards were for a good VR experience. What does it take to make something that won't make people uncomfortable and won't turn people away from virtual reality? That's really the most important thing. It's not to poison the well for all of us in the future. And I think they understood that. They also understand the importance of content, and they've been doing a lot of work making sure there's a lot of VR games, end quote. Just this week, Sony boss Kaz Hirai said that more than 200 developers have signed up for the PlayStation VR development program, with more than 100 game projects said to be underway. Earlier this week, Oculus announced that the first Rift consumer model will cost $600. Sony has not announced the price point of the PlayStation VR, though that information should come relatively soon, as the headset is scheduled to ship in the first half of 2016. With regards to the price, PlayStation executive Shuhei Yoshida previously said Sony's aim was to go, quote, as low as possibly can be done, end quote. So, Palmer Luckey, the guy who obviously was the developer behind Oculus Rift, says that the PlayStation VR is quite a high-end product. And it might not be. I mean, there's going to be one that's probably superior to the other. Oculus has a lot of money behind them now with the Facebook's acquisition of them. And, of course, Sony, they're trying to make a VR headset just for games. So I'm thinking the Oculus probably does have more practical applications. $600 for the headset, that's kind of painful. I'm hoping that the story that I heard earlier today isn't true and that the PlayStation VR isn't $800. Please let that be a lie. Someone leaked it on Amazon, and then, of course, they took it off Amazon immediately. If that's the case, PlayStation is going to be in a lot of trouble, because a lot of people who buy PlayStations for $400 are not going to spend $800 for a VR headset. With all these developers, though, are working on VR games for PlayStation. That's a great thing. And if VR is what I think it is, the evolution of gaming, with over 200 developers working on games, it's going to be a hell of a future for gaming. You guys let me know what you think in the comments section. Do you think PlayStation VR is going to be as high-end as the Oculus Rift, or do you think they're going to be the same, or do you think the Oculus Rift is going to just blow PS4 out of the water when it comes to VR technology? Be sure to give a thumbs up and show support for the Beastly Gamer channel, and definitely subscribe. I'm the Beastly Gamer, and I'll see you guys next time.